everything's correct. I started the stream. Should I send you over my Twitch link, by the way? Do you want to follow up with the chat?
You can tell me what's going on in the chat.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. Okay, so let me.
Or I'll get lost because I'm not used to it.
Oh no, no,
Just
no, no.
reading while I'm talking.
No, I just ask you because I always like let people to ask questions at the end of the interview, so that's why. But I will read out loud then. Okay, I usually do that, so it's just if any of my guests would
Okay,
like to
nice.
follow up with the chat, then I always ask this.
Mhm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us know if we can start, if the audio and video quality is good on both of our end. Let us know. And also the cute little mascot figure is there as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Let us know, let us know. Hölgyek, urak, jó az audio és videó
I
minőség?
still don't have
Kezdjük.
plushies or anything, but
Are you planning
one
to?
time I used this as no, but it would be cool. But one time I did it at an event where you would take a picture with the
Nice.
alien's face.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Did I actually? Am I tripping?
So
No, no.
it's
I'm
live,
I'm
right?
I'm just talking to myself and
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. If I'm checking if I have started it, but yeah, it's
It's live, right?
I'm just talking to myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can hear me nicely, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
volume is
Everything
good.
is fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just checking if everything is correct on my end. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think that we should start. People will tune in. Let's not wait because it seems that everything is fine as I checked it. Okay, let me know. Are you down to start, by the way?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
So, welcome everyone in the very new episode of my Dev Live show. I'm here today joined with the creator of the game called Exophobia, and I'm very thankful and very honored that you joined us for today's episode. Like I'm always saying, let's start with a little bit of introduction, so please introduce yourself for us.
Yes. Thanks for the invite, by the way.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm José Castanheira. I'm a game dev from Portugal,
Okay.
and I released my first commercial game called Exophobia, which is a retro first-person shooter. And yeah, it's my first big game. I used to do small games before, but yeah, so now I launched my first real game.
I see. I
That's
see.
a couple of months ago.
I
Yes.
see. Nice. Congratulations for the launch, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are the past games of yours available somewhere to try out, by the way, that you were talking about?
Yeah, if you have, I have a website which is Architect, which is the
Okay.
name of my studio because I know my name is kind of hard to pronounce, Castanheira. And I made like this Architect studio, but it's only me. Like it's a studio of
I
one
see.
person.
I see. I see.
And if you go to that site, architect.com, you can follow the itch.io pages or the Game Jolt pages, and there are some free game jam games you can try that I did, but they're very small, very like I was just testing out some mechanic or something. They're very small, but they're playable. Yeah,
I
if you
see.
want to check it out.
I see. Thank you for the information. Thank you. Okay, so my very first question would be what was the very first contact with video games as a player, if you remember those times and memories of your life?
Yes. Yeah, I used to see like friends playing on like Mega Drive, uh, which is called Genesis, I think, in America. So and Game Boys on in the school and all that, and I was like, yeah, I want to play it, and I could only play like being when I was with them, and we were switching and all that, and I was I want to have a console one day. And then my parents offered me my first console, which is Game Boy Color, but it was
Nice.
pretty much at the end of the life of the Game Boy Color because I think the Game Boy Advance was already out or
I
something.
see. I see.
Yeah, but it was still a very fun experience, and I would exchange cards with my friends, cartridges with my friends, and all that. And but always wanted to try more things, but it was kind of hard. And then I found out I was going online and finding all these flash games, and they had so many great ideas, and
I see.
they already had the indie feeling to it, right?
Yeah.
Flash games at the time, and that kind of sparked me like a bit of okay, I want to do this. Also, I want to try to make my ideas of games. And when I was playing my Game Boy and all that, I like to draw stuff like sorry,
No, it's okay. It's okay.
like levels and characters, and yeah, so it's pretty much like, yeah, basically, so web web games like Flash and like emulators. I found out about the emulators and all that, so I played all the retro games that when I was a kid, and yeah, but yeah, that was it.
I see. I see. And what was the very first time when you transitioned from not just loving games to be able to make games and also like started your career of making your own games? What was the first time
Yeah.
in your life, if you remember that?
Well, well, there's the first like I said, like the Flash game spawned a bit of curiosity in me,
Okay.
but it was only I used to draw levels and that on paper, and like, so board games are also games, right? So
True.
you
True. 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 True.
can kind of count that.
True.
But the real programming thing started when I just typed how to make games in Google, and the first thing that showed up was Game Maker, which is an engine that I also used for Exophobia that I've been using since.
I see.
And I was like 14 at the time. I was still discovering that. I had no idea how to program or code or anything like. But yeah, I just learned with the time, and then um, I was in college. Like I didn't want to go full game dev, so I went to do a computer science course. And then after I finished the university, I decided, yeah, I want to do my first big game, which is Exophobia. And meanwhile, while I was in university, I was doing the small game jam games to learn. So it kind of like was a big time before I launched my first commercial game, like more than 10 years.
Okay, that's a quite lot of time. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Since I discovered GameMaker, more than 10 years have passed, and now I launched my first commercial one.
I see.
Yes.
I see. And how do you feel about? Was it like very like hard or scary to step into the route or journey of making your very own games? How do you feel about that?
No, it's very exciting. I
Okay.
think everyone has like that spark of oh, this game really touched me, and I want to do the same. Like I think everyone can do it if they want to try.
I see.
It can be a bit scary, like, and you will face a lot of problems that will cause you headaches, but if you just keep at it, it will eventually come true. Yeah, I think that's true for everyone, I think.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So a
I
more
just had a
per.
lot of passion for that, right? So it's like
No, it's
a lot
true.
of
It's very
passion.
true what you
I
said.
want to
Yeah.
see it
Yeah.
through.
So a more personal question from me. I hope that you won't mind it. So how do you feel about like were your parents and close friends supportive about your
Mhm.
decision that you started making your own games? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. So, well, when I was at university, everyone was like learning to program, right? So
I
they
see.
they they found it funny, like, oh, it's making games. Like instead of just doing the crappy programs that we do in school, I was doing like games, and they would test it out, and it was fun. Even before that, in high school, I was showing it to my friends. They would laugh at the games because I was making funny things like with their faces and all that
I see.
in Game Maker. So I tried to like make something that people would see and be proud of. Like, oh, I'm in this game. My face is there, and I can try to beat the score. And yeah, so that's a really positive feeling to show all your friends and all
I
that.
see.
As for parents, I don't think they still know what they, they still know what I'm doing, right? They don't understand games,
I
so
see.
it's like it's a bit like I show them like, oh, I released the game, and they're very proud of me, but it's like, yeah, how does that work? How do you get money from that? Did you have to invest something? They don't know, like, and I don't tell them most of the things because it's hard.
It would be scary for them, right, to understand it.
Yes. Yeah.
I see. I see. And do you feel like it's important to have a supportive background and supportive surrounding people in order to be able to achieve your goals and not give up on the journey of making games? How do you feel
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that?
I think it's very important. If it's not your close friends or family, you can like look into your local game dev groups and try to find friends in there. There's a big community in Portugal of game devs, and when I started making game jams, physical game jams, I started to know everyone, and it was nice to see like the how everyone was supportive of each other, and that also helps a lot when with accountability, right? I was making this game and everyone was asking me,
True.
oh, how is the game going? Every time we meet, we was like,
You cannot
talking
give
about
up
this story.
because you started that
Yeah,
road journey. Yeah,
yeah.
people are
And now
waiting
it
for
would
the
be like
game. Yeah,
now
exactly.
it would be like a shame
True,
to
true,
quit. So yeah.
true, true,
So
true.
I think it's very important to look into like a friend group that understands your passion and helps you with that. Yes.
I see. So throughout the journey, when you like were making the smaller games before Exophobia, have you already had the idea of this bigger game of yours? By the way.
Yes, so it's funny because the game was born also, Exophobia was born from a game jam game. It's
Okay.
when I was trying to make like a first-person shooter,
Okay.
because Game Maker it works very well with 2D games,
I see.
but when it's 3D, it's more complicated.
I see.
And I wanted to try the challenge for a game jam. Like in a weekend, I did a small test. The game was totally unplayable at the time because I didn't have much knowledge about the 3D stuff.
I see.
But the idea was nice, and then when I wanted to make the big game, I thought, oh, I'm gonna take
Oh.
the game jam game. This is it's tricky. I'm gonna take the game jam game and build a bigger game around that. At the time, I didn't have the Metroidvania things like
I
Exophobia is
see. I
very
see.
Metroidvania progression, and at the time in the game jam game, it was just a single linear levels, right? Very linear levels. And so I basically took like that idea from the game jam and expanded on it and tried to like put a hook on it, like something that was unique to it. So a retro first person shooter, Metroidvania. Yeah, and it all connected a bit somehow.
Okay. Okay. And what influenced your game, and also what influenced the actual, decision that you connected these two type of or genres of games, like the FPS and retro themed FPS, and also the Metroidvania genre.
Yeah, I basically thought that they had a lot of elements in common, right? The all the
Okay.
exploration that you do, the secret rooms that you get in both genres, right? And yeah, like yeah, all of that seemed to make sense, like to just instead of just building singular levels, because that's pretty much what almost every retro FPS is doing, is like chapters.
True.
Chapter one is a
True.
set
True.
of
True.
levels,
True. True. True.
clues,
Yeah.
set of levels, and I wanted to do a concise experience, not a thing that I would be able, I would have to expand, like
I see.
keep creating levels. No, I want to just like it's out, it's there, and you can play it, and it's a full experience on its own. Yeah, only with the save file, one level, and the Metroidvania part was born from that.
I see. Okay. Okay. And what about the name of your game? What influenced that choice of yours?
Yeah, it's pretty much the story, I think, because the story of the game is very. It's not a big story, but the storyline there's lore to it, and what happens at the end of the game and all the happenings that you find during the game, they all give you that sense of like fear, like the fear that the crew of the spaceship felt when the aliens attacked, the fear that the aliens fear from the also the humans, because it's a mutual thing. So the phobia came from that, and exo is because it's like an outside thing. So
I
it
see.
doesn't really mean like it's kind of fear of aliens, but it's like the aliens are aliens to the humans, but the humans are aliens to the aliens, right? And
True.
it
True.
kind of
True.
made like the
True.
I made that connection, like the aliens, everyone is afraid of each other
I
basically.
see, but that's very true. Yeah, we do not know what other beings have in their
Yeah,
mindset until we like ask them or communicate with them or really
yeah, yeah.
get into their shoes. Yeah, it's very true. Okay, so I
And the
believe
lore
that.
that you see in the game is like that. It tells that story of how they met each other
True.
and what events happened
I see.
until you're playing that present time. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I believe that a lot of us creators who make our own craft, are always willing to, put our inner self into the craft we make, our stories, emotions, experiences. Is that true for you as well? That you put some experiences, memories, or even yourself into the game? Because there is a sequence, for example, with the dog, right, in the
Yeah,
trailer as well. So is it true for you or for your game? And the connection with you with the game. How do you feel
yeah.
about
That's
that?
something that I want to explore in next games. more
Okay.
like I consider myself a pretty much like a gameplay oriented designer, right?
Okay. Okay.
I think of gameplay and
I
mechanics and all
see.
that,
I
and
see. I see. I
how
see. I
that
see.
works. And I like playing these action games, fast paced games, and it's what excites me, right? And then
Okay.
I bring all these inspirations from Metroid and Mega Man
I see. I
to
see.
make
I see.
Exophobia. But yeah, I really wanted to explore the like the personal level when you're making a game, right?
I see.
And like you said, the dogs, I was just pixeling dogs for fun, and I pixeled my dogs and my girlfriend's dogs, and then I added to the game
I knew
because why
it.
not?
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, so they're real dogs, yes.
Okay. Okay. I see. I see. And
I thought it was fun to add them to the game, and
true.
like
True. True. Like an Easter egg,
everyone likes.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
they're secrets. Yeah.
people will remember your dog forever who play your dog, and you as well.
Yeah.
Like your family
Yes, yeah.
members as well. Nice. Nice. And
Hmm.
speaking of your future games that you mentioned now, are you like already have, or do you have like already some plans for the future games that you would like to make?
I have too many ideas, but
Okay.
I didn't want to jump right into a new thing, like because I think the a big problem with game developers that they get too excited with their own ideas and then they don't plan ahead, and then they end up stuck in the development cycle. That's what happened to me when I started Exophobia because I started it like 5 years ago, and 5 years it's too much for an indie game. Like I know I had some side jobs in between, but it's like I didn't want to take that that long to make. So it was kind of a big project for me. So maybe I have to rethink what kind of project I want to do next, like if, so I can better estimate the time that I can do it. Yeah.
I see. I see.
So a lot of ideas. I have a lot of ideas, but I have to select them very carefully.
I see. Okay. Okay. So you mentioned that you are more of a person who appreciates and loves gameplay oriented games
Mhm.
rather than story oriented games. If I came correct with what you have said just now, and but you would like to do a more personal level game, so a more story based game, we could say, in the future. But would you want to like sacrifice your gameplay oriented vision, or you want like something in between to have a very core story and a good story, and also like have a very good like gameplay mechanical side game as well? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't think you have to sacrifice one for the other,
Okay.
but there are some games that really incorporate good gameplay with story. Like, but yeah, I guess if you go very action heavy game, the story kind of gets sidetracked, right?
True, 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 true.
Yeah,
Not always,
so
but most part of
yeah,
most of the time, yeah.
but it kind of becomes like an optional thing. Like
True.
you can choose
Yeah.
to read or
Like the
yeah,
environmental storytelling option for people
yeah,
to
that
yeah,
also works. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So probably some a very mix between those. Yes.
I see. I see. Okay. So when designing and making Exophobia, what was the goal with the difficulty setting of the game of yours? Because you mentioned, of course, that you loved and appreciated old school era games, which of course were way harder than most of the games nowadays. So were you aiming like a much harder difficulty with your game, or did you want it to make a game much easier for today's generation and players?
Yeah, when you're making your own game, like you, you're gonna make it really hard for other people. Like right before you test it with other
True, true,
people, the game was kind of unfair until I started testing it and showing it to people, and so I tweaked it as much as I could so it can become easier. Now I don't know. Like it really depends on the kind of players. Like I've seen players on Steam like beating it and saying, "Oh, the combat is too easy" and all that. But there are others that struggle with the difficulty. So you'll never please everyone.
true.
I tried to add a difficulty setting that makes the enemies faster or slower according to the difficulty, and that's like to try to if you're bored from it, you can like go to hell difficulty and they'll be faster and it will test your reflexes and all that. But it's one of the the biggest difficulties in making a game is trying to make it fair for everyone. Yeah.
I see. Okay, okay. And so, what about the graphics? Like when you like made your thoughts about the graphics and choose the graphical side of Exophobia, like what influenced that? Like, was it like the love for old school video games?
Yes, when I was doing the game jam version, I wanted to make a restriction with the palette.
Okay,
So because I was doing a game in a weekend, and I had to make a visual that could pop, but it would be easy to do. So I went with the at the time they were hand drawn aliens with a much higher resolution, but they used this red color. I wanted to like have a contrast where you could like look at the spaceship and see where the alien was immediately because of the red,
I
and
see.
then all the blood that would come out. Like it was like a the contrast between the blood that is a hot color and
I see.
the cold color, the blue, the metal and the organic and the metal thing, and that came from it. And then as for the big game, I wanted to do like really small resolution things and take it to the limit to see what kind of visual I could create with it.
He's trying to
Sorry, kid.
escape, right?
Yeah, he
Something's
doesn't
not
like to
right
be here.
in our world. He's trying to escape. Okay.
He's looking very angry now. He just wants to go home.
Hopefully not.
He's
Hopefully
planning.
not. Hopefully he's enjoying his time here with
Yeah.
us. Yeah. Okay, so seeing him, by the way, or her, I'm not sure if it's him or her, but seeing the little mascot that we talked about. So, are you planning to make physical editions of your game, by the way?
Oh,
Because
they're already out. The
oh, they
physical.
are. There
Yes.
is. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I
Oh.
can I can try to get you one, but I don't know if you can pause, I could
Oh,
show
okay.
you.
Let me know. Let me know about it. Yeah, we can talk about that after our interview. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
missed that. Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for
because
letting me
my
know.
publisher, yeah, my publisher, PM Studios, they specialize in doing physical editions, and that was something that they
Oh.
wanted to do since launch. Yeah,
Okay.
which
Okay.
is nice. It was a nice thing. Like for a first game, it's amazing to see it
Yeah.
in your hands.
Exactly. Exactly.
Go
Like
fine.
it's your child coming to life in the physical version as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel like you found yourself by starting making your own games? Like, do you feel like you really are at the
Hmm.
right place now in your life that you are making your own games?
Oh, that's a deep question. um, how do you say that? Like it was a dream so for so long, so for so many years that when you achieve it, it's like, oh, this it feels exactly like I was expecting it to, right? It doesn't,
True.
nothing like special happens and nothing. Your life doesn't change. Like
True. True.
it
True.
can it just increases like, but every step you do in your life, it increases like your path to happiness and
True,
all
true,
that.
true,
I think
true.
so. So it's not like one moment in time and it will change your whole life. Like it's
True,
all
true,
every
true, 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 true,
you put every single effort you put towards something
true,
that changes. So
true, true,
it's always a work in progress, right?
true.
That
Yeah. So speaking of that, by the way, how do you feel? How have you changed as a person in other territories of your own life from
Mhm.
being a game developer?
The question was that if they treat me differently or
No, no,
something,
no. How
or
you as a person changed
yes.
on an everyday life base in other territories of your life. So, what have you learned
Oh,
from
okay.
being a game developer, or how have you changed as a person? Have you got, for example, more patience or less patience, or how have your perspective changed on games, for example?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a good thing. Yes, to see like the patience that you get on building, like you have to build such a huge thing out of so many years. It kind of gives you another perspective on what your work is and all that. Uh, game development also makes you like want to crunch a lot. So that's something I have learned to avoid entirely. Like uh, get ahead of your work habits
I see.
basically, and yeah, that's that. As for playing games, I play much less nowadays, but
Do you
I'm
miss
trying
playing games,
to.
by the way? Do you miss
Yeah,
playing games?
I miss I miss that. So when I finish the game, I'm taking like a short vacation of just playing games and
Nice, nice,
everything
nice,
that I missed in these years. Yes,
nice. Okay.
but it's nice that I'm still having fun with them. So it's good. They didn't lost the magic after being
Nice.
a game
Were
developer,
you
right?
afraid that they will lose the magic because you start
Yeah,
making
yeah, yeah.
games?
Yeah, some people say that they like they stop enjoying as much as
Really?
they do. I
Okay.
think they, or at least they get a higher taste, right? Of like
What's good
they're
and
just
what's not for
complacent.
them? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
see. I see. Okay. What about the music part of your game? Like,
Mhm.
was it something that you were composing to the game of yours as well, or have you hired someone to compose the music of your game?
Yeah, the music and the sound effects are something that it's the only thing I didn't do in the
I
game.
see.
They were made by a friend of mine that also worked with me in those game jams that I talked about, the
Nice,
physical
nice,
ones
nice.
in Lisbon and all
Those
that.
friendships are
So,
very important in life.
yes.
I say, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like he always wanted to work with me at the time. Was like we made a good team, so it was nice. And when I started this big project, he wanted to join in, and it's like I think it's a really good contribution to the game because it gives it such a unique feeling. The electronic dance music
True, true,
it
true,
it
true.
gives it a unique flair and makes the world come alive. So yeah,
True.
I'm very thankful that I met him and they wanted to work with me.
I see. I see. And for the future, by the way, would you rather work alone or in a small team, or would you be down to like work in a bigger company, or with more
Yeah.
people than two or three?
Yeah, that's a hard question because I've been thinking a lot about that recently. Like,
Okay,
a big team is a no for me. Like, I like to have control over my ideas, and I want to get my ideas out there. I have fun making my own games, and so I don't want to be like a part of a AAA studio or
I
something
see.
like that, um, or even a indie studio that's smaller. But
I see.
yeah, but where I don't have the creative
Sorry.
agency, right? But as for working with like a friend or like a team of three, like you said, like that will make more sense, I think, in today because the indie quality bar is raising so much nowadays that
True,
it's
true, true, very true.
really hard for a solo dev to make a game that will stand out among all
True.
the others that have
There are
been
so
coming out.
many
Like,
games out there, right? And
yes,
it's very hard to
yeah,
market them. So it's like a
yes,
never going race between the games, even if you don't want to race with other developers, but you still do at the end of
yeah.
the day for people's attention, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to do it. Even in this year was crazy. Like, and last year too. Like the quality of the games and the number of games that have been out.
True,
Like
true,
so
true.
many things that I wanted to play that have come out this year, and
True. It's same for me. Like
they're
I want to
amazing
play
too.
with all the games, but it's like
Yeah.
money and time, of course. And of course, if you
Yes.
have even if you have money for that, it's like time consuming. Like there are some
Hmm.
games which are like 100 hours long,
Yeah.
and you have to have those hours for those games to play. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay.
So yeah, so maybe like a team of three would like give me a better chance. Give the team a chance to make like
I
something
see.
that would have a bigger return, I think.
I
But
see.
it's hard because I really like to work alone and not have to like this is our work. Like everyone is different, I think, but
True,
not
true,
have
true.
to try to communicate with a person
Exactly,
and
exactly.
share the ideas
True,
that
true, true.
make
Like,
sure that the other person also understands what you're
yeah,
thinking and vice versa.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard, and I struggle a bit with that.
No, I get your point because like it's very hard if you have a very like your own vision, right? And you need to explain to somebody. That's I feel like that's the first step of the uh, problem that would start,
Yeah,
right? So because if
like a
there is
relationship, right? Yeah,
exactly, exactly. Like if there is
and
no
the
like perfect
mutual agreement.
synergy or you can't develop it throughout the time, then it's like getting very hard, to work with others, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And it's very rare to find those people who like is there's a click between those people.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's very rare,
yeah.
but when it works, it's
It's
good. It's
amazing and magical. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, the end product will increase in quality, of
true,
course.
true, true. Very true.
That,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And what games have you been playing lately that you said that you took a break from making games, and what games have you been
I
playing
mostly
lately?
play indie games.
Okay.
Like lately, I've been obsessed with UFO 50
Okay.
because it's amazing. Like I was like, waiting for that game for so many years, and it really delivered on the thing. Every single mini game in there is like it's magical, and
Nice.
I lose hours trying to cherry all the games.
Nice. 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 Nice.
And it's so many creative ideas there, and it's
True.
really nice to
True.
explore.
True.
Yeah, for a game
True.
designer, I think it's really good.
True. Very true. You also mentioned, by the way, crime. So, how do you feel? How have you been able to like make or keep the balance between your everyday life and making your own game? So, how have you found time for other hobbies or your family members or your friends? So, not just stuck in the process of making your own game.
My girlfriend is saying that no time.
Oh, no time.
So
Okay, hi to her, by the way. Okay,
she was saying like no, yeah, it's something that I had to learn over time, right?
okay,
It's really hard at first because when you're really excited about the game, you just want to work on it and you do long hours and
okay.
all that stuff. But I try to always when family or something schedule something, I try and friends, I try to go to everything and always like okay, I know that this week I'm going to spend time with these people. I have to spend time with them, and that is always a priority for me. But yeah, sometimes I just get lost in the hours when I was developing,
Did this happen a
and
lot of
that is
times?
yeah, it happened a lot of times, and
Okay,
you kind of have to force yourself to rest and all that. Yeah, it kind of happens, and especially because I was I had a very rough time saying no to things. So I was like saying yes to everything that was coming out of side things, and
like in the
I kind
Yes
of
Man movie,
wanted
right?
to do it all. Yeah, yeah.
There's a movie
I
called
kind of
Yes Man about it. Yeah,
yes, man.
yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of like I had to fill I had to fill all my schedule with something.
I see.
But now after I finish this, I'm like yeah now I have the experience from before and I know
How to develop
how to
it.
get a better schedule.
I
Yes.
see. I see. Okay. You were
I
talking
don't think
about.
it's worth
No,
it
go for that. Sorry.
yeah, sorry. I don't think it's worth it like to spend nights and just like it can also damage your health. And
True.
I
True.
think it's
True.
more important to take care of yourself first
True.
and
True.
then
True.
The game
Because we
is
are
not.
humans at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our health come first. If we are sick, we won't be able
Mhm.
to do what we want to do. Yeah. Exactly.
You have to
Exactly.
get a balance of
True.
what makes you feel happy
True.
and healthy at the same time. Because of course, if you don't work on your game, you can kind of feel frustrated and
True.
unhappy.
True.
So you have to balance it out.
True, very true. Yeah, but I mean, I understand those people. I also did that sometimes. That if someone is being like or having a very high passion about something that he or she is doing, it's like very hard or sorry, very easy to stuck in the process, right? So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like you won't like realize that I don't know 10 hours passed and you're still
yeah.
working on your game, right? So it's like crazy, but it can happen. And I know for me
Yes.
with writing, sometimes when I was, for example, like writing articles about video games or I was writing my books, I just stuck in the process and not realizing that, a day passed by and I wasn't even eating anything and like, okay, I
Oh
need to
yeah,
move out from my room or something. And yeah,
yeah.
it happens. It
Yeah, that's the
happens.
problem with creative things.
Yeah,
Yeah, they push you
exactly, exactly.
to the
Like
limit.
it's like not just an 8 hour job or 9 to 5 job when you
Mhm.
go there and go home
Podcast.
and get the salary and that's all. Like it's more creative. Like what people do not understand is that you have to even put more work into your own craft if you
Mhm,
want to
mhm.
have a good quality and to be also passionate about it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. And you mentioned also like that you are taking a break now, and then you will start making your next game. So when we will see something about your next game? Do you know
Ah,
already? Then that's
no,
when.
I can't say for sure. No, no.
Okay,
I've just been doodling stuff on a notebook and trying to get some ideas.
I
But
see.
yeah, I'm in the process of picking up something that calls me.
I see. I see.
Yes.
And are you influenced by everything you see in life, by the way, or sometimes you have to go into some territories in your life in order to get influenced by to your games? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, sometimes the things from life influence, like even seeing a painting or a mosaic on the wall
I see.
can like, oh, this could be a map or this could be something and could generate some kind of game from that. Yeah, that happens. It's not just thinking about what other games existed and all that. I
I
like
see.
to build things from the ground up, I think, and try not to get influenced by the
I see. So
the, the
try
ideas that
to
already
make
exist.
something new
Yeah,
that is not out there. I
yeah,
see. I see.
yeah.
I see. Okay.
And I think as indie developers, we have to do that, right? Because
True.
it's
True. True.
no
That's how
one
you
would
stand
play like
out, right? From
yeah,
from
yeah,
all the
yeah.
games that we see out there. Yeah.
Instead of doing something that already exists, you have to do something that
True.
stands out, and because there will always be a better version made with more money of the
True.
of the
True. Or
same
more
games.
time, or yeah, or more
Yes, with
knowledge.
more
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you have to make something that only you can only play in your game. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So throughout the journey of developing Exophobia, uh, were there some parts of the game that you had to cut out from the game?
Oh, yeah. There's some mechanics and enemies that were cut out. Yes,
Okay.
when because I had a lot of ideas of things that could work
Okay.
together. But then, one thing that I didn't expect is that when you're building like a world of like this, and these all of these mechanics, they all interact with each other. So you have these actions, you can slide, you can shoot, and all that, and there are other mechanics all around in the environment. But what you don't expect is that they have to interact with themselves, right? So when you add one thing, one small little thing, it's not just a small little thing, it's how this thing will interact with everything else. Like, will the player understand what this thing is? So it's not just adding a thing, it's like you have to rework the whole game to make sense with that thing. I
I
don't know if
see.
I explained it correctly,
No,
but
I
it kind
understand.
of,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. And was
Because
it
you can
like
just add something to a game and it's there. No, it has
true?
to make sense with
True.
everything.
True. I
So add.
understand it. Yeah, like a cohesive type
Hmm.
of like everything is fine at their
Yeah.
place, yeah, and connects with everything else. Okay. So, and what about the bosses? Which boss were your favorite to design in your
Okay.
game?
Well, I really like the core boss with all
Okay.
the multi-platforms things.
Okay.
I think it's from what I heard around, it's like the everyone's favorite because it such a it's kind of unique idea, and very few games did this kind of thing. And with
True. True. True.
since you can't look up and down, it makes a lot of sense in this kind of game,
True.
and it couldn't happen anywhere else. So I think I did a good job designing that one.
I see. I see. Okay.
And of course the secret final battle, it's also one of my favorites because it's like it uses this is a spoiler, but it kind of uses the same mechanics as your character, so you're fighting against an equal of yourself.
Yourself. Yeah.
And it's yeah, I wanted to make it like a special thing. It's one of the things that I didn't have much time to improve because
I see.
I think the combat finishes very quickly. I didn't want to add more health. I just wanted to make it harder. But some people say it's kind of easy for a final boss.
I see. I see. So you
But I didn't have
mentioned
more time to test it out
I see,
and
I see,
improve
I
it.
see, I see.
Yeah.
So you mentioned so there were some people who complained, for example, about like the difficulty of your game that it was too easy. How could you deal with those? We should say more negative comments on an everyday level, everyday emotional level, if you could say so.
Oh, that yeah. I wouldn't say that that one is a negative comment.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it's
not
just
like a
yeah,
negative, but not a very positive. So let's say somewhere
yeah.
in between, in the middle. Yeah. So how could you like deal with not that much of a positive comments? Like, could you like take to
Mhm.
heart very much, or did you understand those
Uh,
people somehow?
If
Or
it's stuff like that, I think it's valid. Like, it's valid criticism,
okay,
right?
okay,
Like, it was their experience and
okay,
how they felt about it. But what is harder to get is like those really negative comments that are just there to trash it, right? Because I got something like that when I launched the game. There was like a hater that was just commenting on everyone's reviews, saying, why are you giving a positive review to this game? It sucks," and all that. And I was like, yeah. And so, but I think it's a good thing to have a personal hater because it means that I did a good job. Like, I was pissing off someone so bad that they wanted
yeah,
to spend time doing that. But I don't understand.
yeah,
But yeah, those kind of comments were like, at first they kind of hurt a little, especially when you know that you spend so much time on
true,
it.
true,
And
true.
sometimes it's things that could have been fixed if there was more testing, more resources, and I think. But but after a while, it's just, I just read comments and it's like, oh, okay, this one likes it a lot, this one doesn't like it at all. Like, you're gonna always have to have, if you make a niche game, it's always going to have to be divisive, right?
True, 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 true. I feel like the real problem nowadays, especially that I'm always saying this, that we live in a world where people like easily, being able to like cancel others, which is very bad
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of people nowadays who like suffer with like or in real life problems or with real life problems, they always like intend to put those real life problems into making opinions about the things
Hmm.
that they consume. For example, any form of art or media, even if it's video games or movies or music or book or whatever. And I feel like it's very bad because what they do not understand is like they or their very like harsh opinions can always like affect people's life, right? Even if it's just
Hmm.
one day, then you will be sad that one day, but it's one day out of your life, right? So it's like, why should they do that? And I feel like these platforms, especially Steam and other platforms too, where you can release your games, they should really like not tolerate being harsh, in my opinion, because it's
Hmm.
not about like you should give your opinion with honesty, of course, but like why would you be harsh with someone who you even don't might know, right? So it's just for them
Yeah,
you're another person on the internet who is making games, but they don't know you. And even if they would know you, why would it make sense to be harsh with you, right? So it's like
yeah,
nonsense
yeah.
to me. But yeah,
Just a waste of energy, right?
true,
So
and
trying
time and everything.
things
Yeah,
and die.
exactly. Like they could be better in life instead of just
Yeah.
writing negative comments or harsh comments on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you
Yeah, but it
think?
was nice seeing that everyone was disagreeing with him, with giving the thumbs up on the game, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll ignore this.
True,
And
true,
the
true,
fans are protecting the game, so that's a nice feeling also to have.
true, true. Very
Yeah.
true, very true. Do you think that there will be ever a change in our life and also like in, for example, in the video game industry, that people like will stop hurting others with their opinion? Can we see that
No,
future
I don't.
somewhere?
I don't see that happening.
Okay, but why?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think it's very it's our very nature. I think we are always being we always have to be competitive in life,
Okay.
and yeah, some people enjoy bringing others down. I have an idea. Like,
Energy vampires, we say that in Hungary for these people.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
like they are
yeah,
draining our energy as vampires,
uh-huh.
doing blood. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I don't understand that at all, but because it's not the way I was raised, and
Yeah, true, true. I
I know
always say
basically.
this that yeah, I think it's also about raising, like how people have been raised as kids. I appreciate that what you have said. Yeah, yeah. Of course,
Yeah,
there are examples when people have like very bad like childhood and they
yeah,
still
of
like
course. Yeah.
have been good adults. But yeah, okay, okay. Are you planning, by the way, to add any like DLCs and updates to your existing game, Exophobia? How do you feel
Yeah,
about
I would
that?
like to, but I don't know. I don't know if I have the resources for that, like the time and money, and if it will have a good return. But I would like to have some, at least like a free update of with some more content, just uh, to reward the people that already bought the game and incentivize more people to buy it
I
in the
see,
future.
I
Yes.
see, I see. What
Mhm.
I forgot to ask almost is that what was the goal with the length of your game? Like how long you wanted to players be or get involved with your game? What was the goal with that?
Basically, the like the regular length of a Metroidvania, like not too much. Like Hollow Knight, I don't know if how many hours it takes, like 12 or something. If you probably know, but yeah, I was aiming for something like 6 hours,
I see,
like an afternoon, trying to finish the game in the
I see,
afternoon. If
I
you
see.
wanted in one sitting, you could do it. Like that was what I was aiming for. Only at the very end that is when I realized that how big it could be, just because I never played it from start to finish, and when I played it all in one go, I was like, oh, this is actually very a lengthy game, and even more if you kind of get lost in the maps and you don't know where to go, it will take you way longer than 6 hours or something like. At least two or three sections of that.
I see, I see. Okay, okay. Are you down, by the way, to go into some questions from my community before I ask some more questions?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, let us know, ladies and gentlemen, if there is any question. Let us know. Hölgyek, urak, bármilyen kérdés? Bármilyen kérdés? Any questions? Let me know. Let me know. Any questions? Oh, by the way, I will link uh, the Steam page of your game again
Oh yeah, nice.
because I
It's on Steam and Nintendo Switch and Xbox and PlayStation also. You can find it in any store.
I linked it. I linked the Steam page. Okay, nice. Let me also highlight it. Okay. The mask, the real mask. What was the feeling,
Yeah.
by the way, when you first showed your game to the public? What was the feeling?
Like you mean the released version or
No, not
the
the released version. When you like started
the-
developing your game, what was the feeling of it when you first
that
saw
was
the reactions of people that it's a
that
game
was so
that you're
long ago
making?
that I don't remember. It's so
Oh,
long
okay.
ago. uh, no, it felt good. Like it's always nice to see. Like you don't really, as an indie, you don't really do like a big develop announcement, right? You just go to your friends and show, oh, do you want to try this or do you want to see this? And so yeah, uh, and I think the reactions were cool. Yeah.
I see. And you mentioned like you misunderstood my question, but I would also like to ask that question
Okay.
that
Okay.
you was thinking of. That what was the reaction when you released your full game, Exophobia?
hmm Yeah, it was a crazy day. It's always a crazy day because when you it just comes out and you see all these people talking about it, like when you show it to your friends or your or players that are testing it out, it's kind of very individual things, and when you just see like a lot of comments about the game and stuff like that, everything piling up, it's very overwhelming to see all these opinions. And yeah, but it was really nice to see like everyone is excited about it and help spread it. So all my friends and everyone who followed the game. So yeah, it's a really great feeling to launch it first after so many years.
I see. I see. I love that. Okay. Okay. What about the marketing part? How was the marketing part of the game? Like, I know that you have said before that there's a publisher, of course, working with you. But before you had a publisher, was it hard to market your game or to promote your game to the public? Or did you have a publisher from
Yeah,
first day of making your own
no,
game?
no, no. Started on my own,
Okay.
and then I was just doing like the regular Twitter posting. Just I had a Twitter and just showing gifs there, like everyone else was doing the screenshots Saturday
Okay.
and getting on those hashtags. And then the publisher approached me one day because they saw the game. I think I actually participated in a Steam event, and I was doing like my own thing and just learning as I went, like what felt good to me and what made sense.
I
It was
see.
nice. It was nice at the time getting like those numbers on Twitter because people. It was kind of a gift that tried to get your attention with the colors and all that. So I tried to do my best with that. But it's kind of annoying. Like I would say, like as a developer trying to make the game at the same time that you're marketing it, it kind of it takes a lot of energy. Yeah, but yeah, then the publisher came in. They didn't help a lot. Only in the near the launch when we knew the game was ready, they did a lot of content for social media and all that. But before that, it was just me posting on Twitter all the updates and all the little things that I wanted to show about the game and getting wish lists from that. So yeah, it's basically just learning as I go. And probably next game I would have like a defined plan, like a schedule, because I wouldn't know like what works and what doesn't, and I would be more prepared for that.
I see. I see. And the when you mentioned so when the publisher first approached you, were there some other publishers and you had to choose, or was it like the
hmm
perfect option for you and that's how you chose them, or how did it went for you?
Yeah, others have contacted me and they showed like their deals and all that. But the PM Studios one seemed like the best choice for me, and also like because I could relate more to the people behind the publisher,
I
right?
see.
And then
I see.
we had a good conversation, and I think that that felt right with them. Yes.
I see. I see. Okay. Why do you think like this genre, like the retro FPS genre, is so popular and was always so popular? Like, why do you feel like people love this genre so much? Because I believe it's an awesome genre, but what do you think you as a developer of making this type of game?
Yeah, like they're becoming a lot of them, right? It yeah. Last couple of years,
True, true,
it
true.
exploded. I think the people just want to go to their roots, right,
Okay,
where they could just pick up some game and play it right away without much lore,
okay,
much cutscenes and all that, and just pick up and have some fun for a short while and leave it like so. It's mostly nostalgia and the way that we have less time to play games, and this genre is perfect for that to give you like that dopamine
true, true,
or
true. Sorry.
spike like really fast. Yeah, I think that's the why is it so popular.
True, true, true. You mentioned, by the way, at the very beginning of our interview that you loved Game Boy games. Are you
Hmm.
planning to like have a port of Exophobia or your future games on Game Boy games as a Game Boy game?
Yeah, I would like to make one for the Game Boy. Yeah, we're using Game Boy Studio one day, but not Exophobia. I don't think it would work.
Okay,
There's actually a filter in Exophobia. You can collect filters that change the colors of the game, and one of them is Game Boy color. It's not Game Boy color. It's the original Game Boy with the green
nice,
tint. Yes,
nice, 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 nice.
and you can collect that and play the Exophobia with green palette.
Okay, I see, I see. By the way, throughout the development time of Exophobia, what was the hardest part, or hardest parts, if you remember, of the development process itself?
I would say the level design. It was
Okay,
a lot of trial and error. It
okay,
was a lot of placing stuff and seeing if it worked, and then testing with other people and see if they would get confused or if it made sense. Like I don't think it's perfect how it is right now, but it took a long time to get stuff right. And like I had never built 3D environments, and this is way easier than building 3D environments because it's just putting blocks like all the walls are square, so it just like building Lego out of this. All these rooms are like Lego, so
he's really trying to
they
escape now.
stay for dead. So yeah, it is not as hard as making like a 3D environment, but it kind of felt like a puzzle to try to make everything work
I
and
see.
be connected. Like in a much Metroidvania, you really have to know like will the player get soft locked or not, and you have to go out do all these circling paths so the player returns to the same space, and and you have to think about the pacing. Like is the player going to fight like uh, during too long in this section? Should I make it a bit easier on this part? There's a lot of questions to be asked when making this connected big world level that the player can backtrack and see it again. Yeah, it can't be, it can't look boring on the second time, or it needs to have some surprises, like when you reach to a place you've been before with a new upgrade, it has to hide a secret. So it's a lot to have in account. And yeah, I think it was the hardest one. I think I spent like there are 4 floors in the game, and I spent like a month on each trying to make it look right.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. So we have spoken about like the dog as an Easter egg in your game as well, but do you have other Easter eggs in your game as well?
Yeah, there are a couple more with like in the third floor. I had a lot of references,
Okay.
like
Okay.
pop culture
So
references
people
from other
be out on
games.
the lookout for those in that
Yeah.
floor. Okay. Okay.
I was just writing things with the red and blue, and it's like, oh, these characters would look cool in red and blue. Maybe I'll add them to the game. So if you destroy like a secret wall in the game, you can see on the pedestal there will be characters. There's always a blue one and a red one,
I see. I see.
and there will be like stuff like Digimon
Okay.
or the Daft Punk helmets,
Okay.
stuff
Okay.
like that. Just stuff that would look cool with the pixel art, I
Okay.
think. And there's also other games, like a game from a friend of mine is also there. There's one shark,
Oh,
a
okay,
balloon,
nice.
balloon shark floating. If you look like on a corner of a wall
I see.
in the sky, you can see it.
I
Yeah,
see. I
I
see.
tried to add these little things because this palette is very fun to work with. Like the colors are really nice to try to make something out of it. Yes.
I see. Okay. You also mentioned like the moral part of the story of your game that we can learn about, like the bad guys that they have they might have something good in them, or we should understand them as well because they are scared of us. So will we get to know about it at the end of the story, or is it something that we can pick up from some items or the environment, or how does it work?
Oh yeah, you have to collect yeah, like I said, like I'm gameplay first, so I wanted the player. If he doesn't care about the story, he can just go around and finish the
I
game
see.
without ever
I see.
reading any part of the story. But if you really want to know the lore behind it, you can collect the CDs, the discs, and they give you extra lore if you insert it into the terminal. Yes, and you'll basically find them out of order, and then when you have all of them, you can read them on order and
Oh,
see
I see. I
the
see. I
sequence
see.
of events that happened.
I see.
Uh,
I see.
so we, so it's kind of revealed. Things get revealed the further you get in the game.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Okay. So we talked about a lot of topics, but what I haven't asked you before is that what skills would you like to still pick up for the future of your game development journey? How do you feel about that?
Hmm. I don't know if I want to work with 3D. I think like I enjoyed it, but I think it's a whole different world, like modeling and creating 3D environments and all that. It feels like it kind of departs a bit from my game design oriented approach and gameplay thing. So not sure if I, yeah, but I would just like to improve my art and my programming, also be be more efficient with my code. I think with exophobia I was learning a lot, and it's kind of complicated stuff that I did, like the all the save system of the game, because when you destroy something, that thing gets destroyed forever, and every floor stays the same after you come back and all that. So that really took a while to figure out and work it properly, and all these systems work together. So I think, yeah, I would like just to improve my code, and I think with every game that I do, I'll be a bit better next. Yeah.
I see. I see. So you also mentioned that you still love playing video games and you haven't changed on that side of your life by making your own game. But have your perspective on viewing video games changed just because you started making your own games? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you kind of get more. You start paying attention to how the game
Okay.
might have been designed,
Okay.
and what like the developers are trying to teach you and all that. Like I sometimes joke that like when I see like some patterns in level design, that I know where the secrets are, because it's obvious that they did something just to highlight that. And oh, I usually find the secrets because I know like how they think.
Yeah.
You kind of pick up on stuff like that. And yeah, but I think it's, for me it's easy to abstract and just enjoy it. But you always get fascinated, like, oh, how was this thing done, and try to think about it. Yeah.
I see. I see. And so you mentioned before as well that you know some people and you read about some people who might not enjoying games that much now that they started making their own games. What could cause this effect in their life? What do you think about
Like
that?
making their own games because they don't enjoy
No,
the
no,
current
like
ones.
like those people who like started making their own games. They started to not enjoy playing games anymore.
Oh, okay,
It
okay.
wasn't fun for them to play games anymore because they like viewed games from a totally different perspective. Why could it be?
Yeah, I think it's because they start to see like some patterns, and then they kind of
Okay,
get bored. Like it's
okay.
like seeing a magician reveal their secrets, right? And
True, true, true,
they
true.
start
Yeah, it's a good
that,
example. Yeah,
that's what I heard. Like they start like or maybe they're just too burned out from working and they just don't enjoy. it kind of feels like working because you also have to play your own game at work, and I don't know, maybe stuff like that can harm your
Okay,
enjoyment.
okay. So more philosophical question or more science question next.
Yeah, let's go.
Do you believe in aliens?
Okay.
Since your game is based on aliens, I do. I totally will be honest with you. But what
Yeah, yeah,
about you? Like, do you believe in aliens?
yeah. I think that there are aliens. Yes,
Okay.
we may never find them, but I think they're out there.
Would you like to find them, by the way, to show your game, or
If
to
it's yeah,
show them your game that it's about them?
it's, yeah, it needs to be a happy story, not like
Okay.
exophobic story.
Okay.
Only if it was a happy with a happy ending.
Okay.
Yes.
We shouldn't shoot them, and they shouldn't shoot us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We
Okay.
probably should them. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. And why do you think like a lot of people who are not believers or who even are believers of aliens, why do you think like people do not care that much anymore of like as kids we like used to dream being
Mhm.
in space, all these crazy creatures as we invented our in our mind as kids, but as adults we forgot these things and like we go into a job, and so why do you think it's happening to a lot of adults?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard like there was some news that everyone ignored, right? When there was like starting to get some evidence about
True, true, true. Yeah.
in life. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's everything's just so crazy nowadays that I think it's like the less crazy thing is it's gonna be aliens, and we just are just too occupied with our everyday lives, and it just doesn't have that mythical feeling of finding a new species. Yes.
I see. Okay. Okay.
What's the fish now? Gostar. Sorry, I was just trying to
No,
get
no,
more
it's
light.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So
Thanks.
if you would say like a message of exophobia, what would that be? Like what is the main or core message of exophobia to the players? Like, because I believe
Hmm.
that every craft that we make as creators, even if it's a game or book or music or I don't know, just a movie, uh, we always like make
Hmm.
message into that product or craft that we develop. So what is
Yeah,
that core message of your game, Exophobia?
yeah. I would say like it's not very evident, but I would say like it's treat others as you would like to be treated, right? Because you never know what they are going through. You never know their background,
True, true, true.
what their true intentions are, and even if they look scary, you have to give them a chance. And it's basically that's what I wanted to tell with the story, even if it's not fully fledged in the game, and
I see.
most people don't notice
Or
it, but
might miss
that
it,
was
yeah.
the message. Yeah, it's very hidden there, but yeah, it's that's kind of what I wanted to tell with the whole story, with the whole premise of the game.
I see. I
And
see.
like just because like you have a gun in your hand and all that, and you it's enjoyable to shoot, maybe you shouldn't have done that, or yeah, kind of like that. Yes.
Can you, by the way, not shoot in the game? Like go through the game and not
No,
shoot? Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't
There
give
should
that
be a mode,
option.
right? There should be a mode or an
Yes.
option for that with this
Yeah,
core
you'll,
message. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
you'll just run away. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's kind of
Okay.
impossible. Like you don't really need. You have to kill some aliens in the game because some of them close the room, and you can only exit if you kill
I
everyone.
see. I see.
But
To get
but the
through.
other ones you can just run away from. Yes,
I
and the
see.
boss fights you have to finish them also. So
I see. I see. So this core message of yours that you were speaking just now, have you always had this mindset as a person, or was it something that you developed throughout your life by your own experiences and seeing all the bad stuff happening in our society and in our world?
no, I think I always felt that way, right?
Okay,
Even as a kid, when like some people would treat you badly
true,
or
true,
something
true.
like that, I would try my best to treat others the way I wanted for myself to be treated, right? And yeah, so it's something in my life that maybe sometimes I didn't follow this thing, but that I always thought it made sense with me, and it's how everyone should be. Yeah.
True, true, true. Why do you think like a lot of people are not like that? So why do you think like some people are always go into full rogue mode and love to, be toxic and hurt others, like even if it's
The
not a
really
nice
deep
things to
question.
do. We
Yeah.
sometimes, of course, we all do that, but some people are, just go full rogue
Mhm.
mode and crazy mode and
Yeah.
spread this
Yeah,
toxic negativity.
I always like I always imagine that that person is going through something that they don't know how to deal with,
I
and
see.
then they just use it against you, and to just for them to feel
Like a
better.
shield, right,
Uh,
to protect their own
yeah,
little space. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's like the biggest reason, or some people just enjoy doing that. I think.
Okay. I see. I see. Have you showed, by the way, the game sequence where your dog is to your dog? I forgot to ask that.
Sorry, sorry.
Have you showed the game's sequence where your dog is in the game to your actual dog? By the way, I
Ah,
forgot to ask that.
no, no, no.
No,
I don't
you
think
should.
they. I don't
You
think
should
they.
that. You should do that.
Yeah, should. I don't think they will recognize it. Like it's very
Oh, oh, okay.
pixelated.
But
I
maybe
don't
they
know.
will, right? So it's a homework for
Yeah,
you. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, nice. One day I might post the photos side by side,
Oh,
just so you
nice.
can
I would love to
compare it
see
to
that.
the.
Nice, 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 nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
One day I'll make a post about that.
Yeah. Okay. Let us know, ladies and gentlemen,
Mhm.
if there is any question that you would like to ask. I know it's late on both of our ends, but if you are not lurking and you
Mhm.
would be speaking up, chat people, then let us know if there is any question. Hölgyek, urak, hogyha bármi kérdés van, nyugodtan kérdeztek. Várunk egy picit. Mosi, köszönöm szépen 74-et egyébként. And don't forget to try out the game. And if you like it, buy it, right? So
Yeah.
it's available on every platform. So,
Yeah.
and
And if you
if
just
no, go for
can't
that.
buy
Sorry.
it now, if you just can buy it now, just wishlist it on Steam, and eventually a sale will come. Yes.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, let us know. Let us know, ladies and gentlemen, if there is any question. Let us know. By the way, as for the parts of the fast-paced action, when you designed like the action and gameplay segment of the shooting mechanic and the movement
Mhm.
mechanic, what was the goal with it? Because of course there are some retro FPS games which are like much more slower. There are some which are much more faster, and this very like crazy fast-paced action-oriented games. But there are
Mhm.
some games, of course, which somewhere in the middle. So what was your goal with that?
Yeah, I think Exophobia fits in the middle.
Okay.
The goal was to just take Wolfenstein 3D,
Okay.
and instead of going vertical, like Doom started adding uh, floors that are in vertical, and even if you couldn't look up and down, you could shoot, and the bullet would go up to the enemy. Um, no, I just wanted to do the opposite and just go Wolfenstein 3D, and just every time all the action happens in the same plane, and you don't need to look up and down. You just have to do all the actions looking left and right, and try to explore how much the design could be, how fast the design could be with that limitation, right?
I
Yeah.
see. I see. Okay. Okay.
So the thing you can slide and all that, and all these ideas came from because I had that restriction of everything happening in the same plane
I see.
of action.
I see. Sorry. And so about the palettes that you mentioned, the color palettes, like the red and the blue one, is it like a reference to the Matrix movie, or is it something like totally different? Because I connected in my brain with the Matrix movie where had those pills red and
Yeah.
blue. Like, is it something
Well,
connected to that
no, I
movie or?
didn't think about it, but yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no, it was not intentional.
Okay. Okay. And what influenced that choice of yours then? I was wondering.
uh, oh, it's just because I don't know why at the time at the game jam I wanted to make like a red planet, and so the red came from that basically, and then the blue was a complementary thing. And I was doing pixel art and trying to figure out how colors work together, and it made sense.
Okay.
There was no real like reason for that.
Okay. Okay. It's interesting, by the way, because if I remember correctly, like the very first like 3D glasses that we could use as with
Hmm.
paper glasses, if you remember
Yeah.
those for 3D movies, they were like red and blue, right?
Yes.
If I remember
Yeah. Yeah.
correctly, and we could see the 3D images. There were like Spy Kids, if I remember correctly. That was the very first movie that I saw in
Hmm.
3D, and it had this, paper glasses. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if it was the first part of or the second or the third, or not sure was how many
Yeah.
parts it had, but yeah, it was like a paper 3D
Yeah.
glasses. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They were nice, and they didn't work too well, but they're
Yeah,
cool.
but it was like a new experience, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
you will be making your own game with these cars. It's
Yeah.
also a reference to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We touched a
Yeah,
lot of.
but you can play Exophobia.
It would be cool, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
true. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, nice. Love that, love that.
that'll be a cool idea.
Actually, I oh my god, my brain is like not working well enough right now. But I remember that was this mechanic, by the way, graphical methods, red and blue.
Oh, okay.
I'll look into
Makes
that.
everything 2D, right?
I cannot recall. I think that it was on PlayStation 3. I will look into that. I will look game, by the way, like that. Okay.
Yeah.
We touched a lot of topics today. Is there anything you might miss that you would like to talk about, even if it's experience about making your own games or your personal like
Yeah. I don't
experiences?
know. I really liked your questions. It was very different from
Thank
the
you.
usual. Yeah,
Thank
it
you,
was
my
nice
friends.
discussing this.
Thank you, my
All the
friend.
questions. It's nice to. Yeah. Sometimes I get so lost inside the technique, you forget like why are you really doing this, and how you should like put yourself out there and yeah, follow
I
your
love
heart a
your
bit.
honesty, by the way, and I love your vision of like
Thank you.
teaching others with your game, even if they might miss your core message of your game, but
Mhm.
still it's there. Like we really have to treat
Yeah.
others with respect and in a good way, because we are waiting for this to happen to us as well. So it's a very important message, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
That
yeah,
was the whole thing that spawned the lore of the game. Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
Okay,
from that message.
okay. So my closing
Yeah, I
question
don't
would.
think I have
No, no,
anything
go
to
for
add.
that. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
no, go for that. Go for that. Go for that.
No, I was just saying that I don't know what should I add next.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you can go to the last question.
Okay, so my closing question would be like, what would be your advice for those people who would like to start making their own games? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, first you really have to find out what you want to make, and you'll not do your dream game right away, right? You won't have the knowledge for that at first. Like maybe you dream a lot of games that you want to play, but yeah, you have to be patient and and start small and learn as you go. Like don't rush things in. Just every small victory counts. So try to and try to find what makes you happy and productive. Like maybe you'll just like to do art, maybe you'll just like to do code, and join a team that can bring your ideas to life. And yeah,
True, true,
just
true.
just don't force something, and yeah, just follow your your heart, and everything will fall into place.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Okay, like I said at the very beginning of our interview, I will need some of your more minutes, but for those who are watching us, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for that you joined us for
thanks.
today's episode. And like I said, don't forget to try out everyone this awesome game Exophobia, and don't forget to wishlist it if you
Yes,
wouldn't buy it now, but at a later date. And yeah, for those who are watching us live or will be watching our interview in a VOD version or edited version later on YouTube and on Twitch, thank you for joining us today. And like I said, it was my honor that you joined us for today's episode. And yeah, Thanks everyone. Bye bye and have a nice day or night.